Thank you for tuning in to the Not So Cool podcast, where we make not being cool, cool, you son of a bitch.
We are back with the Not So Cool podcast.
Is that the intro?
Yeah, it is the intro.
Yeah.
That's so cool, guys.
Wait, he's talking. We haven't introduced him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not allowed to talk.
You.
Can't talk. Hey, you go ahead, Mike. You do all that.
Okay.
The formalities.
We got a special guest today for all you people. His name is Greg.
I don't know why you're giving him this much
Noir.
juice, though.
I'm not.
Give me all the dude, baby.
Wait, so cause I think I always butchered the last part. Noir.
How do you say
Noir.
it
Correct us, please.
Please.
Jackson. Spopovich. No, it's Noir.
If I call
Noir.
If I call your
Noir.
mother right now.
Oh, Baba. How dare you disgrace us? But it's like new, and then put an R at the end of new.
Noir.
Like new dash
Noir.
R.
Noir.
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 It means black. In
Noir.
French.
Noir.
Oh.
Did you really just find that out?
No.
Oh, I was about to say.
Or Noir Yeager. That's what my homies call me. Nobody calls me that.
I was about to.
Yeah. Podcast over.
I have no homies.
All right, pal. So for the people who probably don't know who you are, which is probably a big part of our listeners, do you mind telling us who you are and what you do?
My name is Greg Noire. That's the moniker I go by. And I am a live music and portrait photographer based out of Houston, Texas. Originally from Dallas, Texas, but of Nigerian descent.
Just like that. Y'all two
Big up Nigeria.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to be done by 1 so we can
Okay, let's push this out then.
Can I do like those office zoom-ins and like look at the gym takes at the camera?
All right, man. So we're just gonna ask you a few questions to jump right into it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you get this basic ass question all the time. How did you get started doing photography?
So I got started. Well, my interest peaked when I noticed my brother doing photography at U of H.
Is this the one that just got married? Sorry to cut you off.
No.
Okay.
My little brother Free, who lives in LA now. He was originally, he was the photographer in the family initially, and I actually made beats, which is funny. It's a funny story because we ended up doing like some kind of role reversal. Is everything good?
Yeah.
What up?
We're good.
So my interest peaked when I saw like the work he was posting on Facebook. But even I'd say maybe a little bit after that, I got a job at Sam's Club in the photo department when I was a broke college student trying to pay my way into the fraternity because I had $0. And I ended up getting a job at the photo lab. And every day people would come in and drop off film, and I would be the one to develop it, whether it be film or memory sticks, because that's what people were doing. That's what people were using back then. And I would just check out their photos and print them out. And I'd be like, man, these everyday Joe Schmoes are coming in and printing out these amazing, beautiful photographs. And I was like, I mean, if they can do it, I can definitely do it. So a little while after that, I ruined my credit and I purchased my first camera. It was a Pixel, a Fuji Fine Pix.
Oh, I have one of those jokers.
A little different from what you're using here.
Yeah.
Just a little.
a little different.
Just a little different. And I was using that like every day. I would take it to parties. I would shoot my girlfriend at the time. I would shoot all around campus and just post everything to Facebook. And then I would like try out different lighting techniques. Like, oh, let me see what happens if I pick up this cologne bottle and cut the flash off.
That's the beginnings.
Yeah. So. And also I joined a fraternity shortly after, and because of my interest in photography, they ended up having me be the chapter historian, so I could document everything and post it in I don't know, some kind of binder, and submit it to regional competitions and such. I never did that.
Wait, so how long ago was this?
This is 2005.
Jesus.
Because I became an alpha in 2006, so it was before.
I think you just gave everybody so much perspective because a lot of people think
It's like an overnight thing.
I was still in high school. No, I wasn't in high school.
No, not at all. I mean, for some people, maybe it is. Maybe you have some photo go super viral overnight, but that was not the case for me at all. But shall I continue?
Yes,
is that okay?
Continue, sir.
Is that okay?
You may.
Is that okay?
Thou art shall continue.
I forgot where was I at?
Your fraternity had just hired you.
Oh yeah, I wasn't hired.
Oh,
this was not a paid job.
They were forcing you.
By the way, I'm in the fraternity Phi Alpha. If anybody was
I'm
wondering.
probably gonna keep forgetting that, but
Alpha Phi Alpha. It's 3 letters.
Memory.
2 of them are the same. But so yeah, shortly after I was shooting stuff for the fraternity, posting to also creating albums on Facebook, and then also decorating our chapter board with like different photos or whatever. Nothing fancy. But one of the AKs who worked for the University Press was like, I like your photos, and I think you should try getting a job at the University Press. I was like, okay, cool. Got a job, easy. It didn't pay well at all, but it was still cool to like be working for the newspaper. That seemed like something that would be super awesome. Then I ended up taking my first photo class because I was working for the University Press, and the what's that role of the person? The chief editor was also the teacher of that class. So just like it worked out well. And again, this is my only educational. Like I've never. Yeah. This is the only thing I learned.
The only formal education of photography.
The only part. Like I learned about like stuff like rule of thirds and framing and all that kind of stuff. Stuff that doesn't really matter, to be honest. But I think it's important to know the rules just so you can break the fuck out of them. Like because they honestly don't matter. But anyways, when I joined that class, I ended up learning the basics and also entering my work in like several competitions because I was getting some really cool photos, and I also got my first actual DSLR, which was a loaner. It was a Canon. I have no idea what model it was, but it was like this bulky ass silver Canon that they
probably a Rebel.
I don't know. It could have been. I have no idea.
Those are the only ones that came in colors at the time.
Came in color. Okay. It's the silver color. I guess it is. That's a stupid. Hey, edit that out. But yeah. So time flew by. I graduated. Started my first company. The name of this company was not Greg Noire, like photographer. It was damn. This is. I don't even think I told this on my own podcast, but it was Images, right? But it wasn't spelled IMAGES. It was EHIMAGES. Because my middle name is Ehiabi. Means we pray to God for what we want. It's Nigerian again. So I spelled it EHIMAGES. So I was like, it's like you pray to God for these images, and then and people and that so I was like influenced by like In the Mix and all that stuff. So I used to see all the tags they put on their photos. So I created a horrible tag and I put it on like all my party images that I was taking, and like people would be like, so what's a images? And people like nobody knew to draw that back to me. Nobody knew that I was a photographer taking these photos because all they saw was like this horrible, really shitty logo with this hard to pronounce name that made no sense. And I was like, oh, well, this is working out perfectly. So I stopped putting that logo on stuff. I just stopped that cold turkey. And I was making beats at the time, and I was going. I'm telling so much stuff.
No, go ahead.
My producer name at the time was Greg Giant, right? And I released a beat tape called Pharmacy, and then shortly after that, I was like,
got that crack?
You have to listen to Google Greg Giant Pharmacy and listen to the first track. It explains everything.
Okay.
But after that, I was like, man, that name kind of sucks. And I was like, and at the time, I was actually, this is before I graduated that I changed my name. But I was taking a film class, and we were learning about film noir, and I was just completely like smitten over like this type of filmmaking. And due to that, it just became like I became in love with black and white, just like as a genre, not only with photography but with film. Citizen Kane is like still one of my all-time favorite movies, and I started adapting that style and like replicating it in my images. So I was like doing like these really cool like thematic shoots that have to do with like loneliness and things of that nature. Like we were shooting like abandoned buildings and abandoned like diners and stuff like that, and dealing with like these really like deep and emotional themes. And I was like, man, how can I be doing this type of photography with a name like Images? Like that shit is stupid. And so I remember I was taking a shit one day, just taking a shit, just thinking to myself, I was like, I was like, how can I change this? Like I wanted to change the producer name, and I also wanted to change like my photography quote unquote company name. And I was like, well, I love black and white. My name's Greg Noire, Greg. I was like, Noir Greg. I was like, no, Greg Noire. And then thus
he was born.
But so that's just like the name portion though. But I didn't really start shooting. I didn't really start shooting music photography until like 2010 or 11. And you guys know, but my little brother used to be in a group called the Nice Guys, along with Eve, one of the guys you interviewed, DJ Candlestick, Todd, and again Free. So it was two producers, a DJ, and Eve, the rapper, and they invited me out to come shoot their one of their biggest shows at the time, which was when they opened up for the Clips at Frontier Fiesta. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had never shot any type of music photography, anything at that time. At least I don't think. If I did, it wasn't any good. And I went out there with my line brother James and some other people, and was in the photo pit. And this whole story is funny because it kind of has to do with the owner of the studio. But I was in the photo pit, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna kill this. This is gonna be awesome. This lighting is great, yada yada yada. And I start taking all these photos. I'm like bursting. I was like, shh. And I'm reviewing everything, and everything's just like pitch black. I was like, is something wrong with my camera? Is the lens cap on? I was like, nope. I was like, okay, this is weird. And I'm still like bursting. And what I know now is that I was basically shooting as if like it was like hot sun outside, like it was 12 p.m. noon with no clouds. And one of the people I looked up to, I still look up to, Jay Vince, he came up to me and he's like, he saw me struggling. I must have looked just visibly, just like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. He came up to me and he's like, let me see. And he picked up my camera and he was tinkering with some stuff. At the time I was like, what is this, witchcraft? It's just like, and then he's like, he gave it back and he's like, try it now. And I looked up at the subject and it was Eve, and Eve has like back turned to me, and he was like covered in like blue light. And I took a photo and I was like, best photo I've ever taken in my life. And so I didn't know shit about settings, so I took my MDA out because that's the phone I had. You know, the small little flip up with the keyboard with the stylus. I took my MDA out and I took a photo of the settings so I could remember. And the camera I had at the time was a Nikon D5000, and I took a picture of that and I was like, I can't forget this because I don't want to fuck up. So I started. I think I did pretty well, maybe. I mean, if I look back, it's probably really shitty. But anyways, I got back home that night and I reviewed all the images and I was like, man, this is amazing. And I was like, this needs to be a part of what I do like for the rest of my life. So from that point on, I kind of just started taking steps towards becoming a music photographer. Long story long. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
You're good. I want to touch on a couple of stuff. Things in his backstory.
Touch on what about you want.
Me touch it. All right. Yeah. One, Winfrey is the first DLSR. Your brother? That's the first DLSR I've ever had in my hands.
Really?
Yeah.
I can believe that.
It was the D3300.
Nikon, right?
Yeah. And before then, I had a Fun Pix like what he had. So I was like, oh, Free, let me see it. And he let me see it. It was in his dorm room. And that's when I was like, man, I got to figure out how to get one of these. I got to get one of these, man. So I was like, and then I forgot you talked so long. I forgot it.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Hey, I think there's some points I forgot to elaborate on too.
Yeah, you did,
We'll never go back
but
to
no,
it.
but Free, like, oh, and then Jamal also, he mentioned J. Vince Jamal. He really did help me out a super amount. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of photographers in Houston that he really helped pivot and
Yeah,
go in a new
black
direction.
photographers for sure. Like,
Yeah, African, yeah.
yeah, I remember when I was like, getting into it. Even before that, like I would always see his photos everywhere. I'm like, man, how do I? Him and Corey Dixon, like those are the photos I was seeing everywhere. I was like, man, these are the greats. And King David, or David. I forgot my buddy's last name.
Oh, the dancer,
Dancer, videographer,
yeah.
photographer, jack of all trades. Yes, that man. But those three were like the big three for me. Like when I was in Beaumont, still like learning the ropes. I was like, man, this is what I'm aspiring to be. And yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
So when did it take a turn for you? Like, I guess, so now you're in love with concept photography, right? So when is it just like, when does it become, okay, you start shooting bigger artists? How do you start pursuing that from that concert with the people you know? How do you start reaching out to other people?
So I was still in Beaumont at that time. I was getting ready to move to Houston, so I was just shooting shows whenever I could, because there was always like a rock concert. Sometimes the nice guys would come to Beaumont because that's where one of the members was from, Todd. He's from Beaumont, so he would arrange stuff with a guy who used to run a shop called Soul Purpose named Sean. Like they would do all these collaborative things like in stores, pop-up shops, and shows. So I would make sure I hung around and find out like what show was shooting where and how I could possibly photograph that, because it had nothing to do with money. It was just like, this is awesome and I want to shoot this stuff. So and then they had this I think what the pinnacle while I was in Beaumont was an event with Fat Tony and another guy. He was in a group at the time. I forgot what the name of it was, but I'd never shot rappers outside of the Nice Guys in Beaumont, I don't think. And that show was amazing, and I got my best photos in that city at that point. And it was called something. Since South by Southwest was happening in Austin, Beaumont had like counter programming, or I guess, but it was called South by Southeast Texas. It was like a day or something. But Fat Tony was like the big thing. Like they had his face plastered all over the city. Like he was like that guy for that period of time that event was going on. So, but after I moved to Houston, I was like always around the Nice Guys. So every time they had a show, I would be there. So like if they're opening up for somebody, doing a show with somebody, I'll make sure I'm shooting the Nice Guys, and then also backdoor and shoot whoever they were opening for or performing with. And so they also brought me to South by Southwest, and South by Southwest is like basically what changed everything, because I was going out to South by Southwest with them every year, just shooting them, only for them. So it's just me, the guys, and we'd go out there, we'd party, we'd shoot, and then we'd come back. We'd do that year after year. And then one year I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try something different. Because I felt like I wanted to take this more seriously, start possibly working with publications. And I was fortunate yet unfortunate enough to have like this really shitty thing happen with this really shitty magazine based out of Florida. I won't say their name because I don't want to give them any props or anything, because they suck. But a while back they used one of my photos I took of OG Ron C and Paul Wall. Like it was the cover of this magazine, and they credited the wrong person on this photo, like intentionally. Because how do you credit your photographer for a photo that wasn't taken by him? I was like, that's weird. So I blew their phone up, and they never returned my phone call until I left a voicemail about legal litigation. And dude called me back, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, bro. I'm giving him a Houston accent, even though he's from Florida. That's just the blanket hood accent." But he was very apologetic, of course, after that point, and he's like, "Let's go." So we've already released the print version, but we can correct this on our digital platform, and then we can also name you a media partner. Don't know what the fuck that means. To this day, I still don't know what that actually meant. But my logo was on the website. So being that media something was a part of my name attached to that publication, I decided to request credentials on behalf of that publication at South by Southwest. So Woody Awards, Fader Ford, all this other stuff. I applied for credentials on behalf of this magazine.
He's
and
giving you the finesse, guys.
Hey, I don't know if it'll work. Well, I mean, it could. Take from that what you will. But I used that for 2014 South by Southwest, got approved, and I didn't drink, I didn't do anything else, I didn't party. All I did was go out there, shoot stuff, come back that night, edit as much as I could before I fell asleep, wake up, edit some more, save those to my Flickr account, set it on private, and then or actually I didn't set it on private at the time. That's what I do now, by the way. Like whenever I'm looking for something to post on Instagram, I put everything on private and then save it, post it on Instagram. So you don't have to go through a drop. It's super easy. But you use Flickr too, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I upload everything to Flickr so that I could post as the day went by, because I don't want to stay in that one area and do all that, whatever. So I was getting a lot of good feedback on the photos I was posting. I had this really great shot of Erykah Badu that people really liked, and a lot of people stole. Some people from the city.
Oh yeah, there's a couple magazines that I've seen.
Not cool. That was back when I didn't know any better though. But yeah, so I got really cool shots of Childish Gambino when he was shooting his Woody Awards set. Just all these artists that I've never even seen before. I was up close in the photo pit getting the best shots I ever got. And after that, after shooting Fader for it, pretty much illegally, I posted this after I posted this really cool shot of Wiz Khalifa smoking. He had this puff, this really cool detailed puff of smoke right next to him. Andy Khan, who was the president, owner, I don't know, CEO.
Yeah, we met him this year.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah,
because
cool.
you were, yeah. He
funny backstory on that one.
He reposted that photo, and he's like, "You guys have to follow this guy. His work's incredible. Yada yada yada." And then he tagged me and all that good stuff. And then I got an email saying what's your address? I want to send you a care package. He sent me a T-shirt and 4 magazines. I was like, what? I was like, little old me. So after that, I used those photos from South by to leverage my first festival in-house. My first festival ever, besides Free Press Summer Fest. I used to shoot those with the nice guys, but I never shot a performer while I was there.
In-house.
So yeah, that year I actually shot. I used the Free Press Summer Fest photos and the South by Southwest photos to leverage Lollapalooza. And I remember, I just sent an email. I wasn't looking for any contacts. I just sent an email directly to, info@lollapalooza.com or some shit. And somebody actually responded. It was from a different email address, and they were like, I think they're fully stocked for the year, fully loaded or whatever. I don't know what the term is. And they were like, but I'll pass this up the pipeline. If they need somebody, I guess somebody will reach out to you. And I just took that as no. I just took that as just a very nice.
But you tried.
Yeah, exactly. But the day after my son was born, I got an email, and the photo director was like, "Hey, did you still want to shoot with us?" And I was like, "Yes." And then we set up a call for that day, and she was like, "Yeah, we want to bring you on." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." So again, at that point, I wasn't even thinking about money. I was just thinking about, oh my God, I get to go to Chicago to shoot Lollapalooza. And then they sent me a contract, and the contract had the rate on there. I was like, oh my God, that's so much money. And then when I got when I signed this digital contract that had the entire amount that I was gonna get paid on it, it was different from the number I saw, and I was like, wait, that was just the daily rate? I was like, oh my God, photography! I'm quitting my job. I didn't quit my job until 2 years later though, but that was Lollapalooza, South by Southwest 2014 was just set everything off. That was the snowball that rolled into this big gigantic iceberg. I don't know. Is that how snow works?
I use that analogy for everybody all the time.
Snowball effect.
The internet is like a big rock, and you're like a little person trying to push that big rock. But once that rock starts moving, it's like a snow. Like you said, it starts to roll and everything.
I feel like the internet's more like a piece of shit And when it starts snowing and then it's raining and it's like, oh, this is a shitstorm. I don't know if that was better.
Both y'all's analogies.
Internet's just a big piece of shit.
Now, for our viewers and our
Big piece of
listeners,
shit.
I want to ask you a question, and because I get this a lot, and I know you get it a lot, so let's like do it here right now. I don't want to know exactly what you get paid because legally you can't go around telling, but give people a median of what a festival for. I get that so often. A median. So and make the.
I refuse.
Make the number as large as possible.
That's
or the range.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Damn, I don't like talking numbers though.
Okay, then how about this? What should you not get paid?
What should you not get paid?
Yeah, if they're paying you, what should you not take? Like,
you should not take like a zero payment because that's definitely a thing. I know a lot of people who get dicked around and but it's the onus is on the photographer to figure out what exactly is going on before you go out to that festival, because this happened to me I don't want to say my prime, but when I was relatively established, I got fucked over hardcore. And I'll tell you the name of this festival because fuck this festival. This was damn, I forgot the name of the festival.
Is this one from last year? The Fire Fest?
No. Fire Festival. I got paid from Fire Festival. I mean, we got paid we should talk about that later. Actually. So Aquarius. Yeah.
I thought that was a travesty.
No, see, that was a shitstorm. that was a literal shitstorm. It was the worst it's ever rained in LA, pretty much. But besides that, I don't want to divulge. But yeah, I think I should have gotten full details before I did that. Didn't mind going out there, but the person who was the quote unquote photo director just 100% fucked me over.
You want to get details on that? How he fucked you over?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, my bad.
Legs up or from the.
Oh my God.
Or Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, baby boy, you done. But this is she was a woman.
Strap on.
Or a girl, actually. But she assumed that I was some kind of novice and that I was coming out there to work for free. So there was a huge miscommunication error on, I would say, both of our parts. It was I would have shot the festival regardless, even if it was for just change, because I thought the lineup was awesome and I just wanted to go. And again, my brother's birthday was the day before that festival, so I didn't mind being out there. But for her to assume that, I had quite a few shows and festivals and all that stuff under my belt, and she was just like, oh well, wait, let me get back to what really pissed me off. So the day she wanted these deliverables, I was getting ready to send everything off, right? I was editing everything, and I was like, wait, nothing is confirmed here. I didn't sign anything. I don't know how much I'm getting paid. I was like, what am I doing? And so I finished all the edits, and then I was like, all right, just finished up all the edits. I'm about to send over. Just wanted to, I noticed we never confirmed what the rate was. Just wanted to confirm what that was before I send over. And then she was like, rate? And she was just like, I assumed that you were just working for free, just so you could have the experience. Yeah, and she said, you said it yourself. You met Will Smith, so I guess that should be payment enough, and yada yada. By the way, I met Will Smith, which was awesome. It's not that was pretty much payment enough, but I wouldn't let her have that. And she came off super disrespectful, and she sent me 7 emails just saying send the photos, send the photos, send the photos, send the photos, send the photos. And I was like, no, I'm not sending you anything until I get some kind of compensation. And she just completely refused, and she treated me like I was just like the dirt between her fucking toes. And I was like, yeah, these are my photos. I took them. There's no contract, and it's public domain. I own these photos, and you are not getting them. So,
swag.
I continued posting. I edited every single caption to remove the name of the festival off of those photos that I took. Yeah, can't fuck people over like that, man.
So
that's not the guy with the content that you want, dummy.
So do you think you overlooked all that because like you were quote unquote I guess excited for the festival?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Like the lineup for Soulquarius was awesome. You had R. Kelly, you had Brandy, Monica, Janae Aiko.
No,
like
yeah, and the reason I was asking that is 'cause I think that's what happens to a lot of us. We get we get overexcited, and a lot of us forget about compensation.
the logistics. Yeah, that's definitely happened. But that's the only time it's happened like to that degree. Like I've never had like that kind of experience before. But I think not only is the onus on the person who's being hired for or who wants to shoot these events to find out the details. I think the onus also lies on the person hiring people to come or having people come aboard to shoot that stuff. If you don't like lay out the ground rules before they come out, then you're at risk for being a dick. Like 100%. Like if I come out there and the rules or what's expected isn't 100% lined out for you to see and accept, like some kind of terms, like some kind of verbiage, then you're kind of fucking yourself as well as the other the people that you're trying to bring on to shoot your show. So just be better people. I guess. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, fuck Soulquarius.
So pretty much what I got from that is trial by error.
Yeah. But the only thing is just that I felt so stupid because again, like I had been doing it for a while, so for me to like just completely blindly just like go out there on my own dime and just go out there and just like without any kind of details or logistics of how this is gonna go, and on top of that, when I got there, she was telling me how to shoot. Like we did a tour around the venue, and she was like, all right, so you don't want to get too far up in the photo pit. You don't want to shoot all the way up their nostrils. You want to make sure you back up. I'm sure you've done this before.
She didn't know who you were.
It's not even about that. It's just like I sent her like my work. This was like a 19-year-old girl. I didn't even know. I mean, age ain't nothing but a number. As I'm not even gonna. not gonna go. Okay. I had a really bad joke. What was I saying?
This is what goes on probably inside his mind.
Yeah,
Age,
but anyways, yeah. So I sent her all my work. I sent her all my work, so she knew like I sent her like some pretty good shots, so she knew that I was capable of like shooting stuff. And yeah, man, I saw her work. I'm not saying it's bad, but it seemed that she hadn't been shooting for that long. So it's kind of like, why would you be? Oh, my bad. It's kind of like, I don't know. You can't just. I don't know. So I think I'm done talking about that.
You're gravy. When did you realize you had influencer power? And how did you start leveraging?
I still don't even know what that is, to be honest, but I guess there's some kind of algorithm that just notifies like all these brands and agencies that somebody has reached like over 20,000. Oh, he's reached over 20,000. Send the emails. Oh my God, it's time, guys. It's time. Pull the plug. Pull the lever on. Because I'll just like sometimes get bombarded. Like I just got some kind of emails like, oh, Greg, I see that you missed our email. Because like these emails, they'll call you by your Instagram handle name, and they'll attach everything together. So it'll be like, hey, what's going on, Greg Noire? No spaces. So I think that these agencies or whatever like have some kind of mechanism that allows them to see like when certain people get above a certain number, or just gives them a list of people like in that bracket that they're looking for. Because nowadays, agencies, or rather brands, are smartening up, and they're realizing that they don't need to spend like $6 million on giving Lady Gaga some kind of sponsorship for like a Coca-Cola ad, giving her finances to like do some kind of Snapchat of like, here's me with a bottle of Coke. Instead of giving her $6 million, they're divvying that money up and spreading it among all these people who have so and so many followers. And that way you can spread the influencer across like so many followers, and you can also keep a little bit of that money and also like spend that money way more wisely than somebody who half-asses an ad that you paid an arm and a leg for. So But in terms of how I quote unquote became that, posting shit to Instagram, people reposting it, getting the followers up, and once that happened, then again, the influencer lords just got that notification.
That's really funny that he said like a 10,000. So cool is currency, pretty much, right?
I don't know if it's cool.
But
I feel like the opposite of that, because it's like people appreciate, I guess, like people being like genuine and being their genuine selves. I'm not cool. You guys know this. I'm a pretty fucking dorky dude, like in all facets of the term dorky.
Says that with a cool babe thing right here.
Yeah. The babe bag is cool, so I have to wear that to offset like my my nerdiness. But Nigerian is cool now, though.
Yes.
That's cool now.
But just, so like
Wakanda.
As far as your influence, I know he was talking about influence and stuff, but outside of like you with brands, or you was like, hey, get this product because I'm Greg, you should buy it. Besides that, like when you're on Facebook, I've seen you like.
Well, I never say you should buy anything.
Well, no, I'm just saying,
okay.
but just outside of like brands saying, hey, we want you to be on our face for this. I mean, your influence when you write stuff on Facebook, when you post stuff about photography, even with you have your own podcast, the stuff you write on Twitter. I mean, do you see like your influence with that? Like people do.
No, well,
attached. I don't say attached, but they listen to you and they look at you. You have a lot of people looking at you. How do you handle that? Or have you is that even like?
I don't know. That's still a weird thing to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it weird? Like,
well,
before
I don't know.
it even starts. So we're at Jambalaya.
Oh my god.
So we're at Jambalaya and we're walking. The young lady's probably never seen who Greg is, but she knows the name. So she comes up to the two of us. Which one of you is Greg Noire?
No, that's not what she said. She said, she's like, I'm sorry, I'm looking for Greg Noire. Can you guys tell me where I can find him? I was like, it's me. She started crying.
Started crying?
Standing.
She was very nice though, but I think she was inebriated. She actually sent me a message and she's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't my best self. I was like, no, it's it's okay.
Cool. But that's happened to you. That's happened to you more than once. Because even at Jambalaya, I think in Dallas, a guy, I took a picture of y'all together, and then at Yes Jules' thing in South by Southwest, I remember another guy stopped you and was kind of like, I don't want to say fan, but he was excited to meet you. Like, I mean, how the hell do you?
Yeah, it's weird because I'm like, I want to say, I appreciate people being like, you've inspired me to do such and such. That's like the best compliment in the world, to say you inspired somebody to do something. Think about that, and like think about how you may have been inspired to like pick up a camera or go out and do this job or that job, or whatever. Inspiration is like everything. So for somebody to say that you've inspired them to do something, like especially when it comes to like, oh, I quit my job and now I'm successful doing this as an entrepreneur, and like I owe that to you because you inspired me to do that. That's everything. But when people like start fanning out, it's weird because I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. I take pictures of those celebrities. So just treat me like the homie, like, oh shit, what's up, man? Like just like keep it casual, because that other stuff is like, I don't know, like with the internet, everybody like with over a certain amount of followers like is now considered like some type of like I-list celebrity or whatever. But like, I just want to be just we're homies. If we've had some kind of interaction on the internet, we basically know each other. we're basically friends now. So just come up to me and say, hey, this is me. What's up? And let's have a conversation. Don't do all that extra shit. But all that love and all that stuff, that's super awesome. Like I save every single compliment that I've not so nice things that people have said. I bookmark those things, but like all the comments I'll have everything screenshot like on a folder on my iPhone, because I appreciate all that shit. And people calling me an inspiration also serves as an inspiration for myself. So because I'm down, I get down on my work all the time. Like I'm not as insecure as I was before, but working with the people I work with, like Charles Reagan, Roger Ho, Julian Beisel, the Golden Voice team, and the C3 team, and the Founders team, all these teams, iHeart Festival teams, all these festivals I work for in house, like these guys are just, it's just full with, and like, you know, like even working with you during Jambalaya, like everybody in there is just like creating like dope fucking content. Sometimes you see your work and you'll be like, man, this is not as cool as what he's doing. So sometimes you're like,
I felt like that with Charles the whole time.
He's my favorite music photographer. He's one of mine. This dude is too creative. Like you can't work that. That's what we go through.
I didn't even know he was at Jambalaya. I would have actually liked to meet him, just say, oh hey man.
Oh, you would walk right by him.
Yeah, he's the coolest dude.
No idea
he's
what he looks like. But when I
by
found out he was, I was like, damn, I would have liked to meet the guy. Like,
yeah, he was only there for one day, I think.
The Houston, it was the Houston one, wasn't it?
No, it was. Oh, was it Houston? Houston. Yeah,
that Migos photo he has.
I don't even know which one because they're all fire. But what was that thing?
Well, but with all that being said, I mean, you can kind of tell the shift with like photographers. I mean, we were just all recently talking about that. I mean, I'm not saying we're like celebrities, but we have like a bigger platform as creators. It seems like, I mean, people look up to us more. We're not just pushed to the back.
That's true. And you know, well, we all have voices as well. Like it's not just about photography, but when you can attach a voice to like some type of visual, then I think that's super important because Instagram is all about visuals. It's all about photos or whatever, or video or whatever. So when you have those like vibrant, colorful, or dark and moody pictures that tell a story, and you have a voice that you can attach a story to, then that's super important because it's not just about photos anymore. It's about who's creating this content. And we all have like voices. We have additional platforms that we can talk about issues and topics and such and such. It's not just about post and go. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Mike had to step out for a second.
Mike had to step out. Whoa. Go get my coffee.
The coffee.
Oh, I'm looking at Mike's text messages.
Yep.
He's talking shit about Fred.
But,
just joking. It's not happening. What if he was though? It's like, podcast is over.
Fight. Yeah, but
the dude, man, keep talking, man. So what's good with you, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you doing?
You said you wanted to ask some questions.
No, Mike just went to Tokyo.
Oh, that was dope.
And I was like, why is he in Tokyo? I want more. Thank you so much for the coffee and for the water. Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Mo. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Shout out to Mo and Mike. What happened?
But yeah, you just came back from Tokyo. I just want to know, like, why were you there?
Oh, man.
Who'd you go with?
I went with two of my friends, Baron Joseph and another friend of mine, Jaleesa. I know
he has a sinister.
Who'd you go?
Friend of mine, Baron, and another friend of mine, Jaleesa.
Oh.
But the reason so I wanted to go to Japan since I was like a wee little boy for the longest. And I kept telling myself that I wanted to go. And then last year I finally got my passport. And I went to Cabo for a wedding I did. And it's kind of like when everything like became reality, like, yo, I can actually go.
Oh, so it wasn't a work thing?
No, I've always wanted to go. So I was like, hey, I'm going to try to go to Japan next year. But still didn't feel real. It just felt like something that I could do.
Did you eat ramen?
Yes, ramen's so good down there.
Ramen has slowly became my favorite food.
I had to slow down on it though.
Yeah,
so
it's so much sodium and salt, but
it's
delicious.
Then I put
Ramen?
soy sauce in it, so that don't help.
There's
either.
this place by IKEA.
Which
It's
one?
like it's Tamashi ramen.
I have to go check them out.
It's the best ramen in Houston, in my opinion.
How much they paying you?
Who? Oh no! Shit, I wish.
Pay me in ramen.
Oh no, seriously though, because I'd go there. I can't go there every day. I started my diet literally today. Like I went hard last night. Like I had Popeyes in the daytime, and then in the evening, Whataburger. But it was a Whataburger Junior with a wheat bun.
I got the
Extra onions, extra pickles.
Listen. Recently I told my partners, I was like, yeah, I get the single. They're like, what, you get no double meat? What kind of man are you?
I get the triple meat. I get that triple meat.
Yeah, you
like
seem
triple
like
meat?
you seem like a
You
triple
seem like a
meat.
triple meat
You seem
guy.
like a triple meter. I need all the meat, baby.
You holding that up too high. That was too easy.
How high
can't
did
even
you,
say
how
nothing.
how high did you hang up the triple meat?
All right, next subject. We're not doing this, yo. I refuse to entertain this with y'all. But I thought you were gonna go to Tokyo. You said you were probably gonna go around that
Well,
time.
I think so. It's not confirmed yet, but I've been doing some work with.
Oh, nothing. That's just go ahead.
Stop distracting me. Y'all distracting me. But no, I've been doing a lot of work with Instagram lately. Facebook/Instagram. Like I've been doing these
Like
gaming.
in-house or just like something you've...
No, in-house. So I did my first thing with them was PAX East in Boston, which is a big gaming convention. I don't think any big news comes out of that, but it's still like there's a huge influx of people who go there every year.
Gaming is a thing, though.
It's huge,
For real.
and I've been gaming since I was a child, so
I miss it.
I'm happy about all this.
Yeah.
Like working these conventions is like kind of like bucket list type things, like dream come true. Especially E3. E3 just happened. And that's the biggest gaming convention in the world. They have.
That's when you were just.
I don't know in terms of scale, but in terms of like major announcements, like every publisher, every developer, every gaming manufacturer, like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Those are the big three.
Yeah.
As far as like the actual console developers, and then you have publishers like EA, Squaresoft, IDOS, all these other whatever. They come out and they just throw all like their cards on the table and tell you we have this coming out, this coming out, this coming out, this coming out, and their press just goes through the roof for the entire year. And I got to play Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man. Bro,
Man,
Live?
that looks dope.
what? So
You guys are getting an exclusive here.
the game is awesome. It's so awesome actually. I have like this cool thing to do in September. And I was like, damn, Spider-Man PS4 comes out that same month. So I'm going to have to wait till that month is over. Yeah. But anyways. It's like...
That's so funny. We're giving them, and we do like the silence. Which is like you're really hard.
Yeah, so... But yeah, so to wrap that back, or bring that back around, because that was a boomerang. The boomerang went out. Now I have to reach out and catch that boomerang. The boomerang was Instagram, Facebook. How's that come back to Tokyo? So I catch it and tell you how that relates to Tokyo. There's a big there's a big gaming convention in Tokyo. I think that's TGS, Tokyo Game Show. And I'm possibly going to be covering that with Instagram. So yeah, that's how that came about.
Dope.
Tight.
What's up, baby?
I loved it out there. I think you'll love it. Definitely enjoy that.
Gaming is cool.
Okay. Wow.
Gaming is cool.
So I am gonna steer away from all that weirdness for a second. There was somebody that wanted to ask you a question. Do you mind if we
It depends, man. You know what I'm saying? Can't be asking nothing crazy.
He DM'd us.
Is only one question?
Yeah, technically two.
That's cool. Rob?
Yeah.
I saw him there. Hey.
So I'll ask you the first one.
Cool.
What was the worst experience that you've had doing a job? Well, you've kind of just talked about that, right? Yeah.
So Aquarius, easy.
So we'll cut that one.
Well, is it? Yeah, it had to be so Aquarius, because not only was it kind of demeaning, it was also very wet outside. It was cold. It was gross.
Did you catch a cold?
I talked about this on my last podcast, the Greg Noire show, by the way.
Shameless plug.
But
we'll delete that out.
Wet floors are my ultimate pet peeve. Like, they make me want to kill myself. Like wet. Like if
your socks get wet. Or
no, just like a floor, like a solid, like a floor like this, being wet. And even though I'm above it, like I'm only thinking about how wet the floor is, and I don't know what it is, but it drives me fucking insane. And what's gross, and if the floor looks gross, like if there's like mud and like little gross little entrail looking things on the floor or something, it makes me want to die.
Have you been like this your whole life?
Oh, see.
Yes. No, I don't know. It could be. I don't know if that's a part of that, but it's fucking disgusting.
That's
like I want to.
So even if you're outside and the street's wet.
Not so.
Okay.
It's more like an indoor thing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like if I, let's say.
So do you mop your floor?
Yeah. Well, that's different. That's different. It's I don't know. It's
Are
contextual.
you like
Like let's say it was raining outside like heavily. I would be dreading coming inside here because I know that this floor would be wet. And if I have to sit down in it, motherfuck, just like put me out, like put me down. I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. So this was so Aquarius, like the entire day. So besides not getting paid, I had to like just fucking endure wet floors. Wet floors kill me.
Gosh.
Okay.
That's your worst.
So yeah, it's Aquarius worse. So Aquarius worse. Oh, but there were sprinkles of magic, because I met Will Smith once again.
Yeah.
I gave Will Smith a bro hug. He gave me a bro hug, like
the hug. Show me. Ooh, poof, puff.
we both were like this.
Like you the homie.
You can even use the mic. It was like that.
Yeah.
Or was it more like?
No, it was like it was solid. Like.
All right. All right. You photographed so many people. So many people. Who would you like to photograph? Who's still out there? And let's say live music wise and portrait session wise. Let's get it.
Somebody that I've never shot before.
Let's one and one, each one. Music wise, live music wise. I mean, portrait wise and live.
Ooh,
which one?
just pop my knee.
Damn. That's tough. Live music wise, I still want to shoot Frank Ocean.
You haven't?
Never shot Frank Ocean. I feel like.
Have you ever seen Frank Ocean?
I've never seen Frank Ocean. I think I would love to shoot a Frank Ocean session. He's up there. I don't know if he's like the person I want to shoot that I've never shot before, because there's not a lot of people that I haven't photographed. I don't think musically like that are like legends. I guess yeah, Frank Ocean. And outside of that space, you mean like actors or
anybody?
Obama.
I'll run with that.
Like please, give me a 5-second shoot with Obama, and I'm pretty sure I'd have something that I could freak.
Now that's another thing. That's cool that you said Obama, and we could roll into the next subject with that one. On Facebook, you're like very proactive. See, they're gonna see me on camera on my phone. I'm just checking the time, guys. I'm not checking text. So you're very proactive. You're very pro-black, and you being an African-American photographer in the industry, do you ever feel anything or anything like, or would you say your experience is different or anything like that? Because there was one festival you worked, and I saw the photos of all the photographers, and I was like, oh shit, Greg's the only African-American, or not, you're African-American, but you know what I mean.
I'm usually the only
black person.
I'm usually the only black person on the team.
I don't think it's a
except for Scoremore Fest, because their entire structure is like diverse as fuck.
Yeah,
I love that. But
I mean, I know with photographers, they're pretty liberal people, so you probably never feel anything. But have you, not to say experience, but as an African American photographer in this industry, how's your journey? How's your experience?
So I'm assuming I have to have a different situation than other photographers, because I mean I can only assume, but I don't know. But there are certain situations to where like if I'm going to a photo pit, I just know I'm gonna have an issue. Like it's a given.
Why does security always want to? Go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
you big black dude.
Yeah, you're big.
That's the thing. And then even small black dude. Like I anticipate. Well, anticipate is more like look forward to, right? It's like anxious. Like I'm anxious about it. Not even that. Not even. No, I wouldn't say foreshadow. I just know it's coming.
You already
like,
know. Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're gonna. I'm just thinking like how hectic or how crazy is the security issue going to be at this festival on this day? So every day when I walk to the photo pit, show them all the credentials, and I'm just like, okay, when's something gonna happen? And usually it goes well, but there's always a situation to where it's like, you don't work for this festival, get out. I get kicked out of a photo pit at every festival. Like I don't know if it's the same situation for everybody, but I get kicked out at some point, and then somebody has to escort me back in. I don't know I'm not saying it's a color issue, but I definitely know that that's been an issue in the past. And I remember there was also a situation, I won't attach any names or anything to it, but I was almost fired from shooting a series of music festivals or shooting for this specific company because they told me that I was yelling at security. And I was like, I was? And I was like, I've never, like, I don't you guys know me. I'm pretty hard to like just get angry like that. If I get angry, this is like the voice. I'm not like screaming at anybody. So if I got mad at security, I might have said something like snarky or like sarcastic, like okay. But as far as like yelling at somebody, like that doesn't seem like something I do. So I was like, I got a call and they're like, yeah, they told me not to hire you ever again. But I talked to them and they're okay with it. But just, you know, we all, you know, in the thick of things, we all get a little anxious. We all get a little uptight, especially when security isn't like working with us. They're working against us. So I understand how you might have gotten to that place, but you know, you can't do it again because they didn't want us to bring you back. And I was like, well, can you tell me who told you that? She told me who told her that. And I was like, oh, okay. Can we have a sit down? Can we talk about it? Because I don't remember this. And they're like, yeah, that'd be okay. That never happened. And then I found out recently that it wasn't me. It was another black photographer. And I was like, wow. I'm the only in-house black photographer. So how could you confuse me with somebody else?
Yeesh. Yeah.
So I was like, and I never got an apology for this, by the way. And I didn't find out from that person directly. Somebody else told me. So yeah, that's probably the most direct possible racist thing that I've encountered. But there's always like something in the back of my head, and I don't know if this is like just me being paranoid or if this is just the byproduct of like continuous racism on an everyday basis, and that's just being exposed to like different forms of racism and different levels every single day, like some new viral videos that shows somebody doing this, that, and the third. So I don't know if it's like this has become a possible mental issue of mine. Like this has created me to be like extremely either sensitive or paranoid. But like I'm always like looking at like the lack of diversity in a photo pit, and I'm like, okay, are they looking at me, judging me? Or they, you know, doing this and the third? Because there's been several situations to where like somebody will like just flat out disrespect me in the photo pit. Just like, okay, you're definitely shooting for like blog X and not for anything like credible. So I'm gonna get in your way and fuck your shot, basically. Not saying that, but those are the actions. Like I remember there's this one situation to where there's this one lady. She's super aggressive whenever I see her all the time, right? And I remember I was shooting.
Say her name.
I don't know her name, but I was shooting a festival in house, and the security was clearing everybody out of the photo pit, and of course I stayed in because I was shooting in house, and I was shooting everything, and then I looked at the corner of my eye and I see this lady like staying there, like pointing at me, like why is he going anywhere? And I was like, what the hell? And I saw the dude go like this. He's like, and then I wanted to. I was like, what was that about? He's like, man, she was trying to get you kicked out for some reason. And I was like, don't worry, he's okay. He's supposed to be here. You gotta go.
But you.
And I was like, but you gotta go.
She on the phone trying to snitch.
Oh my god.
That's the thing, you know. That's
calling 911.
Yeah.
Hey, he's in the photo pit.
He's actually in the photo pit trying to do his job. Can you please come arrest him and possibly murder him, please? That'd be amazing. Okay, thanks.
Wow. But it's a reality.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I haven't really experienced anything like too direct. Like nobody's just like been like, you're an N-word.
Yeah,
that's never happened.
I mean, but because you usually work in house.
Mm-hmm.
In house is usually not diverse, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like. I don't know.
I'm not going to attribute that to the African American thing at all.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just like us not reaching out to the right people, or it just.
No.
I can't.
We talk about that all the time, and network is essential. Like I'm assuming you have a pretty decent network of people that you can reach out to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I kind of. Yeah. Yes and no. I think I'm big on making new connections. So existing networks, then of course, yeah, within the circuit, of course, yeah, I can definitely reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I need this to happen, yada, yada, yada. But I'm also about like building new opportunities for myself. So I used to be that guy every day. My mantra or my modus operandi was like, make sure that you touch a new person every single day, whether that be social media, whether that be email, whether that be like somehow calling somebody, meeting somebody in person. make sure that within your genre, within your photography, like I'm a music photography, so I'm a music photographer, so I'm going to attempt to reach out to somebody new in this, and not to sound opportunistic, because it does sound that way, but it's more like building possibilities and opportunities for yourself by like, okay, I want to shoot this festival. How can I do this? Who am I going to reach out to? So I'm spending hours on Google trying to find that contact who knows or who is the person I should be talking to about shooting this thing specifically. If I want to shoot Nicki Minaj's tour, I'm not going to be sending fucking tweets and DMs on social media. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to a tour manager or a direct manager or an assistant, somebody who deals with Nicki Minaj on a daily basis. And by the way, I'm not trying to shoot Nicki Minaj's tour. Just throw that out there.
Example.
No, I am not. But I would love to do that though. Nicki Minaj is awesome. Yeah. But if that were something I were looking into, that's how you do it. You don't need to send. That's all the advice you really need. You don't need. And I get these questions all the time, like, and the DMs I get are very opportunistic, by the way. It's like, hey, what can you do for me, even though you don't know me? That's not how you go about like requesting knowledge or information. I don't mind getting those kind of requests, I do mind getting those kinds of requests. But like, you got to like open that up a little bit, man. It's just like so broad, like, hey man, I need help. What can you do? How can you help me? Please answer ASAP. Check your DM. I'm like, okay, how do I block you from sending me messages ever again? That's it. Find those contacts on your own. Like, that's something you can do very easily. You just have to put in that time and effort. And researching is damn near a skill. You gotta put the 10,000 hours in the same way you put all that time into your craft. You got to spend that same amount of time researching, because you have to find those contacts on nobody's going to give you a contact. I'm not going to share a contact, especially if that's a relationship that I've like developed over years and years and years. I'm not just going to give that to somebody who just fucking asked for it. That's fucking stupid. That's how you ruin that relationship. Yeah. It's like, hey Greg, some guy named just sent me an email about getting clout. Can you delete my number, please? It's like, so yeah, I'm never going to be that guy to give you. I don't even know how I got on that, by the way. How'd that start?
And we're letting you roll, because that was
there's
awesome
a lot of good information.
You see us over here just like, yeah, keep on going.
Because, I mean, I think it's, what?
Milking him.
Oh,
no. I feel like, I mean, if you're not willing to share that kind of knowledge, like how people can better themselves, then you're a fucking asshole. If you get to a certain position and you're not willing to like share the wealth of knowledge, share the wealth of knowledge. That's
wealth
good.
And knowledge.
The wealth of knowledge. You know how people like share the wealth? Share the wealth of knowledge.
Is that a t-shirt?
Share the wealth of knowledge. Yeah, but if you're not willing to share that shit, then what are you really doing? Because when you get to a certain point, like, you have to start like giving back. It doesn't have to be like financial, but like with like, if you have friends who are trying to, better themselves, and you're not willing to like divulge like certain tips, then you're a fuckboy.
Essentially with the podcast, that's what we had on our minds too, is like give people an opportunity to get a perspective that they never knew.
That's exactly what I do on my podcast, the Greg Noire Show.
Shameless plug number 2.
You're gonna
bleep one of them.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep it.
Man, shut up.
This fight.
So, all right. So you've shot like a lot of different people, celebrities, artists, whatever. Who has been your favorite and the most fun to shoot?
My favorite's definitely Childish Gambino. Just his performance was super energetic. Dude just seems like he's having the time of his life. It's almost like the crowd isn't even there sometimes, but it's definitely a spectacle. One of my favorite performances to shoot like of his was his Governor's Ball performance, and I think I got one of the best photos of my life. And it was him. He was like screaming into a microphone, and he had these crazy lights behind his head. And I was like, yeah, this is the shot. This is probably one of my top 5 of all time, definitely. And another one of his is probably one of my top 5. So, yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites.
There was one you got of him at ACL, I think it was.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah,
I remember that one did like a.
Yeah, there's 2 of those that I just like. I fucking love. So I think like out of my 5 all time, there might be 3 Childish Gambino shots in there. But I think most fun might be Travis, man. Yeah. Like his governor's ball set. Oh my god! Like it was like. So
that was scary.
It was.
That's scary.
Wait, were you there?
No, I saw it from like the stories and stuff, and I was just like,
oh no, people were passing. And by the way, it was wet. It was very wet. So, but that governor's ball set was just like, I was like, okay, Travis Scott is a fucking superstar.
Yeah, I sent you a DM. I was like, is he stadium status now?
So after you sent me that DM, I started asking that question. I was like, wait, is he? Because I think this is his first time like headlining a major festival.
Because when he came, and this is maybe 2 years ago, and it was for the Beat Bash, and Lil Wayne went before him, and then everybody left, and then Travis came on, and it was just like, huh? And I've seen him at House of Blues and Warehouse, and I mean, like, people are busting out the building. So I was like, he's still in that weird space, like, between stadium status, because he didn't sell out. And we're talking about Toyota Center. But I think at this point now, I think if he went on a stadium tour, like, what's his name, Astroworld, I think he's going to be a headliner. I think it's going to be stadium status.
I think I know what it is, though. I think there's crossover. So like he's now in the Kardashian like conversation. So now that he's part of he now has Kylie Jenner's rabid fan base, insane fan base, and then his own, and they're just like this crazy amalgamation of people. Like it's just, the 2 crowds are just like fucking each other and like creating more fans basically. So they're all impregnating each other. And more fans are just being birthed.
That's a crazy ass way to look at it. No, it is. Because that's what I was saying. Like, I think Kylie's like, because people are like, oh, she's dating him, so let's go. Like, let's start listening to him because.
Who's this guy?
And he's forever going to be attached to that.
Yeah, and when I was watching his set, like so after a while, the security just kicked everybody out of the photo pit. Even though we were working in house, they were just like, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of like a risk, like a hazard.
Protect you.
Exactly. That's literally what they told us. So we got kicked out, and they had these VIP cabanas. So I went up there to like get some crowd shots and just to like watch the rest of it. And it started raining, and it was amazing. There was all these hands in the air. Some kid like crowd surfed to the front. He got on stage and he crowd surfed off the stage while it was raining. Beautiful shit. And then Travis like did like like the whole encore thing, like, all right, I'm out of here, and then everybody starts leaving. The house lights are on, and then he comes out. You hear like auto tune, and everybody comes running the fuck back. And I think I have a video of that too. But the crowd comes running the fuck back, and I forget what song he does. It might be Goosebumps or something else, or maybe something else. I don't know. But like seeing all those hands in unison at the same time was insane, especially when you could see like how many people were there front to back. Like I had never seen that many people in like such a small space like ever in my life. Like even when I saw Beyonce, I don't know if I couldn't see like the Beyonce at Coachella. I don't know if I couldn't see the entire crowd, but it didn't look as packed as that was. But this shit was like insane. Like I was standing there while it was raining and just watching the entire thing. I was like, this is like a transformative experience. Like this is an amazing experience.
It looked like this is his moment. Like,
Because Beyonce and Travis, the
made me
crowds,
feel good just to watch that.
Crowds would probably be a little bit different too.
It made me feel good just to watch that. It made me feel good.
Yeah,
real good.
Was it you or was it the Rojo photo? Was that his name? How you say it?
Roger.
Roger. Okay, so his real name is Roger. He posted. I think it was him. They posted the photo of the crowd, or did you do that? One of y'all did.
It wasn't me.
I didn't Travis Scott stage. That crowd.
Oh, I had one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I knew somebody that kind of put that into perspective when I was like looking at it. I was like, that shit looks.
Yeah, but
crazy.
that wasn't even half the crowd.
I can still see it.
There was like more people.
Yeah.
There was so many more people.
How many people? No, we don't know.
I don't know. It was like 20K. Had to be.
So stadium.
Yeah, but
arena, stadium.
But everybody's not there for particularly him. It's like
Yeah.
you're there for
Nah,
a festival.
bruh. The way they were rocking, they were.
Well, you're gonna rock.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. I can't tell you because festivals they're hard to read. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
because I mean, if you're there for a festival, you're gonna want to watch everybody. You're gonna rock with everybody. Like, so I mean, it is hard to gauge, but either way, he's definitely a fucking star right now.
Sorry, I just feel like singing.
He was actually the first person I shot. Travis Scott was the first show I ever shot. My little.
What at was it Beat Bash?
No, it was before he was even who he was. He opened up for a band called The Neighborhood, like years back.
Oh, that was at What's Your Face?
Do you have short hair then?
No, he had the little braids, but they weren't as long as they were now.
I shot Travis Scott at that Fader Ford 2014. I had no idea who he was.
Me either.
But I remember at that point I was like, this is the most epic performance. Like this dude came out, it's like he was rolling his eyes in the back of his head and doing all this crazy shit. And then he did that one song. What's it called? It starts off like dun 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 dun.
Oh.
Dun 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 dun.
Upper echelon.
Yeah, Upper Echelon. Yeah. So at that time, I think that was like his biggest, most popular song. But he's like he had the crowd like split down the middle, and then he got on security's shoulders, and he just the whole 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then the crowd just like basically like battled each other. It was like I was like, this is insane.
Where did he get that crowd control from? That's crazy.
I don't know, man.
That's something just
His legs were like right here, so I got the shot. It was like his legs were parted, and then you could see like the crowd in between. It was kind of weird. Don't know if I'd use it anyway, but it's on my Flickr account.
But that's private, so that doesn't matter.
Your shots, the way you shoot, do you? How can I
By the
put
way,
it?
fully Sony now.
That was,
I'll talk to you about that later.
I was gonna ask you that.
So like the way you shoot, like when you're shooting an artist, do you know what you want from them, or are you just shooting? Because clearly you can't control the artist, but are you like, hey, I got like there's a specific shot that I'm trying to get from this person because maybe you've seen them before, like do you just go in there like? Hey.
Well, it depends on the performer. If I know it's like an energetic performer, then I'm shooting. I'm gonna start off. So it depends. So sometimes if I'm working for like a festival or something, then I'm probably gonna start off tight just so I can get like a decent close up and take that off immediately, and then use like a 24-70 so I can control. Like get wide and get a little closer if I need to. But if it's a wilder performer who's like kind of erratic and jumps around, hops on stage, hops into the crowd or whatever, then I'm gonna shoot wider because I know he's gonna do something crazy, whether it be like throwing a water bottle or doing a crowd surf or a stage dive. I'm gonna focus most of my energy on shooting wider. But I shoot with 2 bodies now. I used to only shoot 1, so now it's not really too big of an issue to like just switch to the other. It used to be just me like, okay, I need to get this. So I guess I need to amend how I actually began my answer, because that was me thinking in like past Greg, like how I used to like, because I used to just have that. I used to only shoot with 1 body, like just the Mark III, and I didn't want to. Because I was only worried about my comfort. And I was like, if I have 2 bodies, I'm not gonna be comfortable. So I was switching between like 4 lenses instead of like having 2 bodies. Like, and during a festival, like that's like super strenuous and fucking stupid as well. Mm-hmm. Like when I started shooting, I was shooting with the 24-1.4, 50 1.2, 85 1.2, and then I'd have a 70-200. All in my backpack, so I didn't have the lens belt at the time. So I'm switching lenses. I'm putting my backpack on the floor and switching lenses. Yeah, this is the stupidest fucking way to shoot a festival. Strenuous. But anyways, so again, it depends on who the performer is. Super energetic, I'm going to shoot out wide and then wait for that moment for them to like get in the photo pic, get in the crowd, do some crazy shit. But if I'm shooting like for myself, like I prefer close-ups. Like that's my shit. Like I love capturing the emotion in people's faces, and like that opening shot of them coming out and seeing the crowd for the first time, and that shit is I like capturing emotion. Like that's my favorite thing to do. I could give a fuck about scale and spectacle and flames and all that shit. I know it looks cool for social media, but I'm all about like getting like super close up and you know, yeah. That's
Todd actually kind of shifted the way I started shooting artists when we had like a talk one time. When
Todd Spall,
yeah.
the Goth? The goat? The goat. I said Todd Spoth, the goth.
Yeah.
I meant the goats.
I went with him to Dallas one time to shoot a Vince Staples set, and of course the whole time we were just talking, and he was just telling me like the things that he looks for and stuff like that, and moments, emotions, and all that. And he was like, he had a specific shot of Vince Staples. He was like, yeah, like not everybody gets when he's mic in his hand or when he's jumping up or all this energy. I was like, but the moment is like when he like stepped back, got his what is that shit? Inhaler, and he puffed. Like that was like a moment.
That's a shot.
Yeah, like, he's like nobody has that. Like everybody's so, and that's what changed my perspective and the way I shot content. I started looking for those moments.
Yeah, he's one of the one of the best. No, I think he is the best photographer in Houston, to be honest. But and that's a good point though. Like I just
had a moment. So Todd Spoth's like a guy who works with Todd a lot is Quest Photos.
Yeah.
And Quest is the same. He's the one who taught me. So it's like, Todd taught me. Who taught you how to take photos like that?
Basically, Todd taught me. Hashtag Todd taught me. I'm gonna post that. But that was a good point when you said like kind of like diversifying the perspectives, because like when you go into a photo pit, and this kind of relates to what you were saying, but kind of not. But one thing I hate is going to a photo pit and seeing like 80,000 photographers on one side of the photo pit, just because like like the sun's over here, so this is convenient for all of us. There's no sun over there. When I see that shit, I'm like, all of you guys are getting the same shot and you're cool with that? Yeah. I was like, I don't give a fuck what if you're shooting for a different publication. That's whack as fuck. Like it's just like if you go down to press roll, you'll see like this is the shot you see. Like it's almost like a fucking flip book the way it looks. So if I see that, I'm immediately either going to the stage, like if I'm working for the festival, I'm going on stage and just shooting there, or I'm going to the other side of the photo pit and figuring out how I can finesse that unique light. Like I don't mind shadows, and you can tell like who's just like in there for like the quick, like, oh, I need to get that. Especially if you're a Getty photographer, like that's. I need the shot to be crisp as possible so I can make the no shade though, because they're making money. Yeah. But most of the Getty photographers I've met are fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Just gonna be real about it, and I will not apologize for that. I've had some really shitty experiences with
that's a soundbite. Greg versus Getty.
Greg versus Getty. Greg says fuck Getty. What does Getty respond with? Stay tuned to the. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, continue, my friend.
He's being extra Nigerian because his brother got married this weekend. He's been around his family.
Bro, I've been Nigerian levels have been on like 70,000. Man, like I've been talking with that accent though. I know I've been annoying my family members too. Like I can't stop it. I have had a few Nigerian rants. I could do the rest of this podcast with a Nigerian accent.
All right, let's hear something.
Actually, I'd rather do the rest of this podcast as Stone Cold. Can I do Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, what's that?
I'm not gonna do it. Okay. You don't know who Stone Cold? Steve Austin?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The voice effect. I was trying to see how you were gonna do that.
I need Stone Cold was. Yeah, I need Jot. Talk to y'all. Shut your mouth, you Jot. Next question.
This accent is so horrible. It's worse than mine.
You Jot. Yeah, I need Jot. Yeah, I need Jot.
Do you have any questions?
This is how my old pastor used to talk to. All right, here's me. Hello, my name is. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't say. I'm just gonna make up a name. My name is Dr. Fagbamidje. How are you doing? Today is a bright and sunny day. The Lord has woke us up this morning to praise His holy name. Hello, everybody say hello. How are you? Okay. How are you? Oh, look at this one. Coffee, water. Your shirt is black and green. iPhone. Who is that texting you? Brian, who is that? Is that your mate? Hello.
Shut up. Now that Greg is doing
they watched
impersonation, I'm pretty much done, man. What about you, Mike?
I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I would love to dive into, but that's just probably something for another time.
Sony.
Yes. Oh, you want to ask about Sony?
Nah, I'm Fuji.
He said he don't care. Up? Well, I'll ask you after this.
Okay.
They don't care.
Thank you kindly, bro.
All right, man. It was such a fun time hanging with you guys. Please bring it back again. This is amazing. Like, wow, I can't believe I'm finally here, guys. Thank you so much.